Yo, what's up, my brethren, and welcome back to another episode of Zeroscape Virtue's Last Reward. You're probably thinking, damn, like, didn't you finish this like a couple days ago? Like, I did, actually, I did. And crazy enough, after I finished it, I just went online, right? And I was thinking, like, is there any point? Cause I was thinking, like, I might as well just try to platinum this game, right? And then I thought, is there anything worth, like, other than the platinum trophy? Because that's one of the trophies to get all the gold files. So I was like, is there any reason to actually get them all? Like, will anything happen or something like that, right? And apparently there is. So I'm not sure. It wasn't for the gold files. You had to complete all the escapes on hard difficulty, and it unlocks a special little thing here. Yeah, weird. It unlocks like a little thing here. I'm not sure what this is. And I looked it up too without spoiling myself. And apparently, and it said you had to like to do it, to get that you had to complete all the escapes on hard, and you had to get all the gold files. But I haven't got all the gold files yet, so I'm just like, when I guess someone was wrong. And you're probably thinking, like, well, shouldn't it be easy to get all the gold files? Well, that's what I thought too. And I had to do my research, and apparently the gold files, passwords. The safe passwords for this game are actually randomized for each playthrough. So it's like no one online can't really help you because they're randomized. And I did my research too. Like, I tried to look up the passwords for the safes to get the gold files, and nothing ever showed up. And then I read one page, and it's like, yeah, they're all randomized for every playthrough. I'm like, really? Huh? That's pretty insane. So I actually have to go through every escape room and do the whole thing again and get all the gold files, which is gonna be tough. But I'm gonna do it in my own time. I'm not gonna show you all that. We're here just for this little thing. I don't know what it is, but it showed up. So I was like, I think I can make this like a bonus episode, you know? Last week was still the finale, but we can make it like a little bonus. I'm not sure how long the video will be. It can't be that long. Infirmary, another time. Alright, well, let's see what it has in store for us. Let's get to it. When are we? Well, we're in the infirmary.
Where?
I see you finally woken up, Kyle.
Oh, hi.
Kyle.
Oh, it's voice acted.
Yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around the other side of the partition. The mirror over the sink was covered with a film of dirt. I wiped it off with my sleeve, and my reflection stared back at me. Wait, are you... There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to...
Kyle Climb. So, I'm Dr. Climb? Zero Senior's clone?
Oh!
What? How do you know that?
Wait, how do you know? We're the clone Sigma.
Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question. One I didn't know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Climb was. In another history, he had been called K and had worn a suit of armor. He hadn't just worn the armor in that history though. Apparently he'd worn it all his life. Kyle had been born and raised in this lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in his life, Akane had appeared as a mother figure, and he had consequently grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him, but even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Climb? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Climb in his younger days. I looked down. What the fuck? There was Dio, still handcuffed. I turned back around to Luna.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
January 27th.
And today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral.
Really?
It just takes a while to have an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes,
How does he know this?
Why am I here?
the doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the doctor is Sigma Climb, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but
Yeah, it is.
how do you know that?
How do you know this, Kyle?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes,
I think he's dead. 'Cause he's been unconscious. He's been unconscious for a good while now.
I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
Oh, really?
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh,
Hi.
right. Mr. Klein.
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
Why are you guys? Oh, well, I guess. Right. I mean, like, okay, this wasn't from the timeline. Yeah, you guys didn't go anywhere.
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
Really?
You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klein now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Right. The Sigma we played the whole game with is now. Well, he should. Hold on, if I'm remembering right, he should have switched minds with the Sigma from that timeline. So yeah, no, he's over in. He's back over there when the bombs went off.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you?
Well, that's exactly what we have to do. That's what the whole point of this project was, Ten.
You can't wait for something that's already happened.
But if he goes back to the past, see, okay, so this is what kind of messed me up a bit too when we first did this. Like, okay, so when Sigma went back to the past, the day the bombs went off, right? The reactors went off. Akane told him yeah, I mean, you told me how you went there one time and you failed, and you lost your arm and your right eye. And so it's like, but like, how is this gonna work? Because like, if he goes just back to the past, isn't he just like bound to fail again? I mean, I guess he would have like the memory of how he would fail, and I guess he could change that. But like, the outcome is still the same. He failed.
Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened.
Well, okay, but Sigma is going back to try to stop that. Well, he's gonna stop it, I assume.
Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not gonna change. In fact, it's because of what he did or didn't do in the past that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. "Let's go northwest," he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers.
Uh-oh.
90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's
Go the other way.
northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh?
But that's how. Okay, I kind of get what he's saying. Like, it's kind of like different timelines. Sure, if you change the past and we go to a different timeline, but the timeline that happened before is still technically real, and the damage to that one has already been done. So there's no changing it. So I guess what he's saying, like we're in this timeline where Sigma fucked up, and there's no fixing it. So there's no fixing it for us, but a different version of us will, if Sigma succeeds, a different version of us will have a better life in the end of this. But for us specifically, at this time right now, there's nothing we can do.
Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
He's mine, but the person there,
Right. Okay, 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when
It doesn't
S changes
disappear.
the past?
it stays the
It's
same.
not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories. Friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness, even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless?
Well, I never said anything.
If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can
Cool.
Look, I'm just not going to accept that, all right? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
I mean, it's not technically true. I mean, they met because Junpei found him as a baby, I think. But anyway, yeah, Quark was alone, like a toddler or some shit. He took him in. But it's not because of like Sigma's failure. I mean, but it did happen during the time, didn't it?
No.
No, it's not. Yeah, I was thinking no. Like you two can meet in other ways. Just the way you met here probably won't happen.
It's not going to happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh! Then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
Aw.
I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Bye, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here.
They were the only people you want to say goodbye to?
No point saying anything to Dio.
Right, fuck that nigga.
Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane
Like,
was
you know,
a
he's
Miyama
true.
in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
Yeah, he's a different version of Sigma.
Of course, he is Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here.
Right, so, you know, fuck that nigga.
Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
And Akane?
Ah, Junpei.
Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew. She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
Ah, Junpei.
In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful.
I mean, it's not like that, Alice. It's like you were. It was for the good of the man. It was for good of mankind. Like, I get what you mean.
We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand. But
Kinda sucks, though. I mean, Sigma and Phi have it easy.
They low-key do, man. They can just jump whenever the time they want.
They get to go back to December 25th in 2028. They'll stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to.
But you guys have to be stuck here in this time.
In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
But we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point.
You told us about Tenmyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest.
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, S's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would be sealed. But
It's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
Yeah.
are we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Yeah, bro, that was like the biggest like left turn from this whole thing. Like, fuck everything else, but like the fact that you guys were, you two, and I guess Phi, were frozen for 45 years.
Even if it is for the greater good,
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
yeah, it's a little bit much.
Yeah, I mean the fucking 6 of you, or 5 of you, I guess, really just got the end of the stick, huh? It's like,
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is one way.
One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
yeah, that's true.
But this is different.
Different. How so?
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time, too.
It's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have 2 Clovers and 2 Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
No, I kind of got some difference here. She's talking about like about sending you guys actually back in time.
Schrodinger's?
Cat.
Oh, hey, Kyle.
You jumped, right? So you're not the Phi from, you're not the Phi I know, right?
Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure.
I'm a little confused. Is this Phi the one? No, because that Phi jumped too. She jumped back in time to the day, a few days before Sigma jumped back into a body when the reactors went off, and she was frozen. I don't know. It's a little weird.
Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately, my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
What?
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Right. Why not me?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
I can't answer you, but I can try.
Right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
Right. What Phi are you?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a merman or a wolfman. I'm not a Brahmin or Kamen or Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you really don't need to worry about anything.
What's the Cayman?
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct?
Yeah. So I gotta know too. What Phi are you?
Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out, even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out, and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility.
You failed.
Fortunately, your plan failed.
and you failed, guys.
The Radical Six did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from Point E, you headed straight to Point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future.
Okay, so see, stuff like this is like, it's confusing to me because like they try to make it make sense, right? And it kind of does, but like when they talk about it in full detail, it's like, okay, so she failed. They failed, right? So how do they have to do this whole thing again? It's like it's just looping around, and it's like it's not going anywhere, honestly.
It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. V1 plus V2 divided by 1 plus V1 times V2 over c squared is the actual equation. Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus V1 times V2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1.
I've never even heard of it. Is this a real equation? I've never even heard of it.
Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use V1 plus V2. You see what I'm saying? In most situations, it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about, right? As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand.
So, okay, I think I do. So you're not really like a big thing here. Like you are, but you're not the one that's like that like time changing as like Sigma is. I think that's what she's getting at.
In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So is that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a
Really?
history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear. You understand?
I don't.
I don't really.
Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about.
That is true. You woke up knowing shit, Kyle.
You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this?
Yeah. How do you know all this shit?
You know my past. Sigma's past.
That means you also timed you. That means you also jumped too at some point.
I shall give you your answer. You are not Kyle Climb. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think about it. Do you really believe you're Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th, 2028.
2000. The day Sigma got kidnapped, or supposedly
His
kidnapped.
consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the Doctor loves Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Climb's spare. But that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
And that is why he created him?
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the Doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
But who is he?
Correct.
there's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me?
Huh.
Telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past.
What? Who is this dude?
Only you can save the world.
There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028?
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observation can change the motion of a particle, then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history.
How important is this dude?
Only you can save the world.
So he's about to go jump to the past. Alternative, a certain point of view. Okay. There's a comment. Okay, so where he is, I don't fully understand that part. I don't know who exactly he is. He's supposed to be Kyle, but I think he had the consciousness of Sigma from Dr. Klein or Zero Senior, or however we call him. He had the consciousness of Zero Senior at time, so that's why he knows everything. But now he's about to jump. He jumped back into the past to the same day the Phi and Sigma jump to, so they have their memories back. And the three of them are gonna go try to stop the Radical 6 from happening. But they fail, don't they? But Connie is like really certain, like with you there, the world will be saved. You will change the world. So I don't know. I had a theory that the third game must be between there. It has to be. The third game is not a sequel to this game. The third game is a prequel. Is a in between game between this one and 999. It has to be, because there's no way. If the whole point of this story is to go back and stop Radical 6 on the last day of the year in 2028, then that has to be where the game is going to take place. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, that's I might have to like read into this a bit because I'm still kind of confused, but I'll try not to spoil myself. Well, hopefully that won't cause any trouble if I do look it up. Alright, well, I think that's gonna be it for today. That was kind of long. It was like at least 20 minutes. Alright, well, coming back to this game, it's only been like it hasn't even been that long. It's been like maybe like almost a week since I last played it. Alright, not bad. Alright guys, well that's gonna be it for today. I mean, a little bonus episode of Virtue's Last Reward, and now this will be our final episode, I guess, of Virtue's Last Reward. I talked about this before, but just a quick reminder, we will play Zero Time Dilemma, but I'm gonna go finish either Resident Evil Separate Ways or Mortal Kombat first. It'll probably be Separate Ways, because that one's way shorter than Mortal Kombat for sure. But yeah, we're gonna finish Separate Ways, and then it'll be Zero Time Dilemma and then Mortal Kombat going all the way. My plan is that we finish Mortal Kombat. The plan was finish the Zero Escape series before Mario RPG came out, but that might not be possible no more. So the plan is Mortal Kombat will finish. We'll just rock with Zero Escape for a while, and then is there some time between Mario RPG and if we finish Zero Escape before RPG comes out? We might do like a random videos here and there, but we'll just rock with Zero Escape and Mario RPG for the rest of the year, and whatever comes our way after that. Alright guys, well that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Hey, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this whole situation? I guess the people who just experienced it for the first time, like me, or people who knew what was gonna happen but don't spoil anything, please. Like, let me know what you thought about this whole situation. It's been crazy. The past like 6 hours of this game since I last played. It's been real crazy, hasn't it? This whole thing started with a virus that pretty much destroyed the world. Impressive. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But anyway. But yeah, just let me know in the comments, what do you think about this whole situation? And without spoiling, let me know what I can expect from the next game. Not sure when I'll start it up, but like I said, we'll finish Resident Evil first, then we'll start that game up. Let me know what to expect without spoiling anything. Because I've heard mixed things about this third game. It's like people say it's like the best one. People say it's actually the worst one. But people say it's actually kind of crazy what happens. It's weird. It's weird. I've heard mixed things about this third game. But we'll just have to wait and see. Make sure you click the bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Check out all my social media, links in the description down below. And with that being said, guys, this is Vamp Knight, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.